Hey, what's up, everybody? How are you? Welcome in. I'm Chad Anderson. This guy is Zach Jones. Welcome to More Than Mortgage, episode number 30. Can I believe we put 30 of these things? I can't believe the internet has allowed us to put 30 of these things out there. But hey, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us and following and commenting and kind of doing all the things. I know the algorithms aren't always in our favor on certain topics, but we appreciate some of the feedback and, like I said, some of the chatting that you guys give based on the different episodes we release. So thanks for that. Today we're going to talk about insurance because this has been, it's more of an off the wall topic for us, considering like some of the different series or topics we've gone through with NAR and with, math and should you buy and should you refi and, should you move and, the process and some of these different things. I think we got into appraisals a little bit, Zach, but today insurance is one that's been this sleeping giant because it's been the slow boiling of the frog, is the best way to describe it. Insurance has just gone up and up and up. And a lot of times the reason we're finding this out is because people are either having a claim and getting canceled, having a claim beyond their control and premiums shooting through the roof, living in a state where they won't give you insurance, which is the case in parts of our country. And also where Zach and I probably hear it the most is at the end of the year when there's an escrow analysis and people say, oh, something changed with your escrow, your premium went up or your property taxes went up because your house was reassessed and now you owe more money. So we've seen a lot of that in 2024, really over the last year and a half. Interesting topic, though, because it really compresses affordability. Rates are already higher than what people have been used to in the last 15 years. Now you add this on, Zach, and all of a sudden home ownership and affordability continues to get squeezed, but from a different direction.
Yeah, and Chad, it's kind of funny that we haven't talked about this because
I know.
we've talked about I feel like I talk about property taxes in my markets fairly regularly, especially in Tennessee, because it's such a benefit to home buyers and to people who are migrating out of high tax states and into Tennessee. Our homeowners insurance or our homeowners property taxes are spectacular here.
Yeah.
And the insurance, that's a great description. It's a sleeping giant because it's always kind of been a creeper. And I jokingly tell people, especially first time home buyers, hey, your payment's not going to change from a principal and interest perspective, but what do you know about taxes and insurance? They're going to go up incrementally because that's what tax and insurance does, right? And then I'll also kind of even more jokingly, but not kind of half jokingly say, so think about insurance companies. They measure risk. And so don't you think there's a division of those bean counters sitting in the basement somewhere trying to figure out exactly how much they can increase your yearly premium on your homeowner's insurance without you picking up the phone? They know what that trigger point is, so they're just creeping that stuff up. But wow, in the last, couple of years, especially maybe since, it feels like a lot of these things started when COVID started, but I looked up an average increase in, our primary markets, Chad, in the Southeast are going to be, considered weather states. We've got some weather challenges with tornadoes, primarily wind damage, and maybe, incrementally flood and, hurricane land. And so in our markets, the average increase in homeowners insurance premium is 23% from 23 to 24. And
Man.
I would estimate, how much more, add 5 or 6 or 7 per year from, for the last 5 years on top of that, that's a huge increase.
Yeah, no, it is. This is almost embarrassing, but when I think of insurance, you and I are a lot alike here. We stay in our lane. Like we really do, guys.
Yeah.
Like I give you a quote whenever I talk to somebody, but I'm giving you the quote based on the last quote I got based on that situation. So for instance, if you're a 780 borrower and you're buying a brand new house, then I'm going to quote you kind of what I was told or what we closed on with a similar buyer profile previously. If you're a 640 credit score and you're buying an 80-year-old house, I'm going to be more conservative in the monthly payment and say, it's probably going to be more like $200 a month instead of 110 on that brand new construction home.
Right.
We're doing our best, but we also say, look, I'm just ballparking based on experience. I don't know your background. You could have excellent credit, but you could have 3 claims, or the property you're buying could have claims that weren't you, but the insurance company goes, well, that property's been claimed twice. What's wrong with that one?
It's
So
in
the
our
buyer may
database.
be great. Yeah. So the database. So the buyer may be great, but the house, we don't really like that one. So your premiums, 1.5, 2 times what you maybe thought it should be. That's kind of how we work and how we operate. But I look at certain things and I go, man, insurance is like 3 things really bother me in this world of mortgage and real estate. And it's credit, insurance, and appraisals. Those 3 things like annoy me to death. The reason credit annoys me is because you could have an 800 credit score your whole life, have, 10 trade lines, everything's perfect. And one time you get slapped, not slapped even, you get an annual fee on a credit card that had a 0 balance. You didn't realize you owed the payment and you accidentally let it go by, and your credit drops 60 points because you missed a $95 annual fee payment on a credit card. But everything else, where the payments are 3,000 or 800 or 200 a month, are perfect. And then your credit gets slashed for one bad thing in years. Insurance is annoying to me because you need it. You're required to have it. But if you ever use them, they kick you out. That's like the most backwards thing. Now, I get it. Insurance companies go, well, we can't have repeat offenders. Well, that's fine. Don't have repeat offenders. But one-time offenders, or a tornado hits your house, or somebody robs your house, or somebody like something beyond your control, right? Not, I didn't drip the faucets and it was -8 degrees outside and I'm an idiot. Or, hey, I, stuck a lighter next to the gas stove and cranked it up. Those things you shouldn't do, but things beyond your control, like I don't know. I didn't realize, I guess, until some stories over the last couple of years that insurance can kind of be that way. It's like you need us, but as soon as you use us, you're out.
Yeah, you and I both have personal experiences in the last couple of years of having to file a claim,
Yep.
and then having a very adversarial relationship with the insurance company that the claim was filed with. In my particular case, my home insurance was canceled, and I had to go out and reinsure. But because I had a claim on my record on an investment property, I just absolutely got hammered with the renewal premium for a couple of years until that falls off. And had I known, I spent more in increased premiums over the last couple of years on that home than I would have if I had settled the claim out of my own pocket. The claim was minuscule compared to what I paid extra in insurance premiums just to keep my house covered. And that part of it really, really does not seem it doesn't even, not that it doesn't seem fair, because I know that life isn't fair, but it doesn't even seem reasonable. It just doesn't, it doesn't make sense to me. So it's a very difficult situation with insurance these days. And some states are having tougher times than others. Insurance companies are vacating California. I think there's something going on as well. It was explained to me, and I can't remember the details, that there was a loophole in homeowners insurance in a northeastern state. It may have been New York. And the recollection that I have of the story is that the attorneys got involved, and there were massive amounts of claims against a few insurance companies in New York in particular because of these loopholes, and they could actually sue and gain damages beyond what was the actual insurance claim. So I think there's a lot of things wrong with the insurance industry, like a lot of industries, maybe, state specific, they can't get things in place to cover them. And so as these, I mean, I can't imagine being in California right now with, if you had 35 companies that we cover in California and 15 vacate the state, now you're really in trouble because you want to talk about monopolies and, price fixing. It's tough. And the same thing is going on in Florida.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting, right? Like just all the different variables that go into it, that because you move to, and I get some of it. Like I said, I'm not saying they're 100% wrong. I'm not bashing insurance companies by name, certainly not bashing some of the reps we work with, because they're just doing their job, and they do it well, because what we look for from them is service, right? Like, they can't control what the rate is or what the premiums are or what the underwriter says at their insurance company. They can't control that. We're looking for them more the relationship and the service. But when you talk to them and you look at it, and I get it with insurance companies, like, they have to go like, look, I know you can't control an earthquake, but the ground in California moves every now and then. So so it just costs more to live there. Kind of the same with electricity, right? It costs more to power it over there. It costs more to get water in certain areas of the country. It costs more to do whatever. But I guess the biggest rub, personally, and like you said, is just the gouging or the fixing or the whatever you want to call it, or how one bad apple ruins the whole bunch kind of thing, from a claims perspective, and how all that works. And with the premiums and with them going up, I haven't seen anything, unless you have. Joe Biden has come out and talked about title insurance premiums. He's working on inflation. He's trying to get that under control. He wants mortgage rates to go down. Don't we all? He's trying to do certain things to incentivize first-time home buyers or move-up buyers through tax credits. All these things are, on a plan or in the works, but I haven't seen anything from a legal or a Department of Justice or congressional or any of that with insurance that I can tell. Like, pretty much zero, right?
And again, I don't know how much of that is state specific because I don't know the insurance industry. But I'm also pretty suspect about those initiatives from the federal government, because I think that, all those ideas sound good to certain demographic groups, especially when you talk about, first time home buyers. Well, that's a young individual or a young couple. I think kind of feel like that's the banking equivalent of the private wealth mortgage of the doctor's loan or something like that. They're trying to get folks into the fold and get them on the team, whether that's Team D or Team R, and keep them on the team. And really, there's not a lot of substance to those programs. There's a lot of talk about it, but how often do those ever really come into play? I mean, there's been 2 proposals to try to address corporate ownership of investment homes. They've completely fallen flat. They're just sitting out there. There's a proposal, and then there's a press release, and all of the media talks about it a little bit, and then it doesn't go anywhere. Except if somebody brings it up at a presser and they say, well, we tried, but so-and-so blocked it, and it doesn't, it's a game.
Falls apart. Yeah. How long have they been working on daylight savings, Zach?
That's yeah.
I still swear that whoever can fix daylight savings would get elected president. Like Biden and Trump, that's what they should run on.
I think they'd rule the world. I think whoever could get daylight savings corrected in the United States we would have a new class of world domination.
We say that as we're just about a week away from the solstice coming up here in the next week or so. All right, so just final thoughts on some of this stuff, but going to insurance, what's the long-term fix? I mean, I look at these things, and every industry has its disruptor, right? And insurance, but it seems like, Zach, talk about this. Amazon's a disruptor. Netflix is a disruptor. Apple, disruptor. Like, but is there anything in the housing industry that has truly been disrupted yet? Like, if you go down the hierarchy, right? Like, this is where, for everybody watching, this is where stereotypically things rank. Person comes in, wants to do a transaction, so it goes to the realtor. Then looking for referrals from realtors are loan officers. Looking for referrals from loan officers are title companies and insurance agents, who are also looking for referrals from realtors. But insurance people are hitting up realtors and lenders. Like, loan officers aren't really hitting up title companies for the most part. They're not really hitting up insurance agents because the trickle down effect, right? Like,
Right.
insurance and title are usually kind of below those top two in the circle of, hey, I need a referral. Hey, how can I get your business? How can we work together? Those kinds of things. It usually goes agent first, realtor, real estate agent first, and then loan officer. But I just look at each one and I just keep going, where's the disruptor? Real estate, they keep trying to disrupt it and it's not happening. Like, Zillow has not disrupted it. It still goes local. We've talked about this off the
Relationships.
air. Yeah,
Yep.
we've talked about this off the air, that BlackRock is pissed that they can't figure out how to bypass the local agent because it's a relationship. Open
Right.
Door has not done it enough. OfferPad hasn't done it. Zillow hasn't done it. Maybe they've made some baby step progressions, but they haven't disrupted. Mortgages, same thing. Online lenders and tech, it has not disrupted. There's still not a disruption to where they're winning a majority market share.
Right.
Same with insurance, same with title companies, same with appraisals, same with all these things. Like, if you look, that's what's odd to me about housing in this country, right? 30% of the United States economy centers around housing.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have a single sector inside of housing that has truly been disrupted. So insurance, same thing. Like, it's kind of mind-boggling, and you see it if you go outside of housing. Go to pharmaceuticals, right? Mark Cuban's working to disrupt pharmaceuticals. There are now a lot of pay-as-you-go and crowd-funded type organizations, but they haven't beaten Blue Cross. They haven't beaten
Right.
United Healthcare. Like, the giants are still around. So where are the disruptors in some of these major sectors of the U.S. economy? And I don't know. And the reason I bring up disruption is because we keep trending in this direction of affordability crisis. And it takes disruption to bring it back, because as we know from COVID, when you're allowed to charge 10 times for lumber what you were charging pre-COVID, well, guess what? Just because all of a sudden the supply chain gets fixed, the lumber doesn't decrease by 10x.
Right.
They say, well, wait a minute. Okay, we went up 10x. We don't have to go down 10x. We only have to go down 3x. So
Yep.
now we're still up 7. Same thing. Like, they keep charging you until somebody says stop. So sorry, I get long-winded on that topic, but you're a smart guy. I'm just curious, like, where does
I
it
have an
happen?
answer. I don't know whether it's correct or not.
Okay.
And I'm going to preface this by saying, having talked to some people in the insurance industry at a corporate level, I do know that, there was a big push to offshore customer service and a lot of other functions in the insurance industry. And recently, another conversation with those same individuals say that, yeah, well, we eliminated those domestic jobs, but now they're eliminating those offshore jobs. And what's coming in is AI.
Yeah.
And so I really think that is the other sleeping giant in our economy, and I don't want to get too conspiratorial about it, but
It's a thing.
I think it's just inevitable. All the smart people are saying it's getting smarter, and I was having a conversation the other day with a friend of mine who's in air cargo. Was like, well, you guys are pretty safe, and he's like, well, they just did the first unmanned air cargo flight from A city to B city, and I was like, you mean they're flying airplanes without people? Unmanned cargo flight.
That
So
crazy.
the expense of that kind of technology is extraordinary now, but think about when you start replacing two pilots, at a couple of $100,000 salaries a year that have a limited amount of airtime that they can fly,
Mhm.
then those machines make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it, we're seeing it with self-driving cars, all of that stuff. So who who's the easiest to replace with AI? Maybe insurance is the first industry to get hit with that. It's difficult. It's been difficult to do. I think you could carve out pieces of mortgage and do it very easily.
Yeah.
But the more complicated kind of puzzle customers, you always got to have a set of checks and balances, because the machine can't assess the risk of a complex human individual. I don't think that they can replace real estate agents now, but what does the training look like? The training looks like all of these generations that are coming up, it feels as though they're being trained to be the anti-relationship. They don't want to talk, they don't want to
Right.
engage, they don't want to interact, they don't want to have a conversation. What they want to do is they want to get data, manage it, process it on their own, and make decisions, and then have those decisions be responded to in a very high service manner.
Yeah.
That sounds like training to a machine response, honestly.
Yeah.
So
Well, Elon Musk.
maybe they can't. I guess what I'm saying is, maybe the disruptor is not that a company comes in and imposes it. Maybe it's a retraining of society to respond to the AI, the AI worker, the AI service provider. Ooh.
Well, Elon Musk, AI, according to him, terrifies him.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's real or if that's just for show. I personally like Elon. I know he's kind of a polarizing figure, but I think he's pretty interesting and pretty funny. It's kind of my sense of humor sometimes. But you look at him, and just recently, he told Apple, like, hey, get AI out of your phones, because Apple is going this path of AI is going to be inside of all the apps. And
Yep.
Elon basically said, get AI out of your phones or they're banned from Tesla headquarters or
Right.
any Tesla building.
That's
And
that's the new Apple update.
right.
People are really up in arms about it.
Yeah. So that's interesting. And a lot of people said AI would be here quickly. And once it gets going, and that's the power of it, right? Is that once AI gets going, it's learning and teaching. And AI doesn't need 12 years of grade school and then 4 years at a university. AI is compounding on itself daily, hourly, every
And
minute.
it doesn't have divorces and kids smoking dope and bankruptcy. It doesn't have problems.
Hmm.
And I think that once it steps on the stage, it's too late. I mean, once it shows up, they say, "Hey, here's our new AI product." It's over.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. It doesn't have all the distractions that we have. And I don't mean to call family distractions, because that's certainly not the case, but it doesn't, it's just robots, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't get tired.
No,
It doesn't need sleep. It
it
doesn't,
doesn't have to clock out. It doesn't need health insurance.
it doesn't need lunch. It doesn't need anything. Like, it just goes. It just
Doesn't have
goes.
boyfriend problems or girlfriend problems or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
drama.
That's true. All right. Interesting. I'd love to know what you guys think, because have you been bitten by the insurance bug? Have you gotten stung one way or another, whether it's a claim? Has your premium gone up? Maybe you didn't have a claim and just the premium popped up a little bit? What are you guys seeing? What are you guys experiencing? Drop a comment, shoot us a DM or a text or an email or whatever you like. Speaking of liking, if you can help us out right here on these platforms, this is where Zach and I pretty much live on the social webs. Check us out there. Also, give us a like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow, download, share, whatever you can on the YouTube channel as well. So that's it. 30 of them in the books. Zach, appreciate you. 30 episodes. That's fun. And we'll keep it going.
That's good.
So,
that's good.
All right.
A little better than, yep.
You guys have a great rest of the week. It's actually going to start to warm up a little bit. It's been a pretty nice summer, but going to feel the heat coming up pretty soon. So have a great one. Stay cool, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.